Atheist Nomads, episode 181, news for January 12, 2017.
The podcast you're about to listen to includes cursing and talking about hoo-haws. Please be advised.
We are the Atheist Nomads, bringing you history, science, politics, religion, and interviews with leaders in the atheist community. Not all those who wander are lost. Welcome to another episode of Atheist Nomads. I am Dustin. Joining me as always is Wesley.
Hey, everybody!
Yay! That's funny!
And Lauren.
Yay! That's funny too!
Sorry if I don't quite sound normal. I am sick again.
Everybody can have funny voices.
Yeah.
It's a funny voice episode.
It started with strep last week.
Voice?
Robot voice.
And then that started to get better, and then I started having cold symptoms.
That was because you are a meatbag and weak.
It makes me laugh.
So, how are the rest of you doing?
Good.
Ah, boy.
I shoveled snow today. Well, it wasn't so much snow as it was slush. Yay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It was awful.
I was on, Lauren and I were both on Trailer Park Atheists.
Woo!
Recorded that a few weeks ago, back before the holidays, and Tucker got it out, finishing up the Book of Judith.
There was lots of war that didn't make sense. And geography that I don't think was correct.
Yeah. And events that did not fit with history. And a seduction story that could have been so much better.
From them, for all those little young men, celibate young men, who read the Bible for pornography reasons. Not the Bible, the Apocrypha.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Dustin off the degree.
Dustin, I get it.
Yeah, you came up with that joke first.
I know, it just made me laugh.
We've talked a bit in the past about the structure of the Adventist Church, and one part I've left out is the self-supporting ministries, because they aren't part of that structure. And I've been trying to think of if there are if anything correlates in the rest of Christendom, and I haven't been able to really think of much that correlates all that well. Like, you've got independent Christian businesses that do things, but they tend to be, evangelical or just mainstream Christian, but they aren't necessarily trying to push a specific denomination.
Well, how about the Christian Science bookstore?
The Reading Room?
Yes.
That's a Christian Science church. They call it the Reading Room.
Oh.
That's just part of the Christian Science denomination.
Okay.
The Catholic orders are kind of almost similar, except they're still officially created by the church and responsible to the Pope. Baptists, it's not possible to have anything similar because Baptists don't have an organized structure. It's a decentralized body. So everything is self-supporting. And with the Adventist Church, so you have the official church structure with its activities, and that includes running churches, hospitals, schools, colleges, universities, bookstores, and selling vegetarian food.
Lots of vegetarian food.
Which is done through the Adventist book centers, and that's all official church business. A number of conferences also own moving vans and have their own little trucking company. That is an official church, part of the church. It's conference owned and supported. The self-supporting ministries are completely not accountable to the church as a whole. They are not funded by the church in any way and act completely independently, sometimes coordinating with the official church, but not necessarily. And you get into a lot of really weird situations with them. So, like, one of the more mainstream examples is an organization called Share Him. They are the evangelistic series I was preaching in Mexico is being sponsored by that organization. It's run by a former conference president. It is, I think they sometimes even work out of a conference office, but they aren't actually a part of the church. They go and they preach in Adventist churches and try to win new members for those Adventist churches, but they aren't actually part of the church. Maranatha is another organization that's kind of like that goes out and they do mission work, and their main thing is building actual physical church buildings. But they're also a independent, self-supporting ministry. You get some examples like Laurelwood Academy outside of Portland, and there's another one in near Tri-Cities in eastern Washington. But they're all over the place. They're Adventist boarding schools that got shut down by the official church and then reopened as independent, self-supporting schools, which means they are not under the conference for making sure that they actually follow official rules. They tend to be far more conservative than the official conference schools. The conference schools are all accredited. The self-supporting ones may or may not be. There's a Adventist homeschooling organization that also no accreditation, of course, because it's homeschooling, and it's also self-supporting. You get into organizations like Amazing Facts, which is run by an Adventist pastor. He did a lot of the work for that out of his church that he was the pastor of in Sacramento. And its big thing is evangelism and pushing creationist propaganda.
I have this disgusted look on my face. Oh. Because that's what the world needs.
Yep. And then you get to the really weird is when it's competing with official church organizations, not directly supporting official church organizations. One example is some independent health or wellness facilities, compounds, communes. There's Wildwood on the Georgia-Tennessee border near Chattanooga, and Weimar in California. Those are the two that I'm aware of. Where, at least with Wildwood, my dad was there for 7 years, so I've heard lots of stories. You don't pay for rent. You don't pay for food. You just go to the commissary and get food. Your utilities are all provided for. You work a job there for them, and you get a stipend, which at the time in the 80s was about $100 per person, regardless of job. He was the mechanic and maintenance man. He got the same stipend that the medical doctors got. And so this is like this residential hospital and wellness compound where there was actual good, proper scientific medicine happening, but there was also a lot of holistic healing happening.
Oh, goodness.
So things like cold compresses and hot and cold baths and encouraging patients to get out into fresh air and exercising and being sure to preach at all of the patients and trying to treat the whole person, mind, body, and spirit.
Really not that bad of an idea. It's just, as an atheist, it's just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But as a religious person, I could see that being a very useful thing to have a doctor wanting to...
Yeah. But you could also get that at an Adventist hospital where they try to staff it with as many Adventists as they can, and where often the doctors and nurses will ask to pray with their patients.
Well, the closest thing that I can think of is the FLDS, and that's less medical and more raping kids.
And also not a self-supporting ministry, it's a split-off organization. All of these self-supporting ministries are still, it's all Adventists doing it. They are good Adventists in good standing, still active members in the Adventist church. Whereas like FLDS, that is a splinter group off of the mainstream LDS organization.
Okay. I understand more.
And then what I think is actually the creepiest, even creepier than the conservative vegan medical communes, is...
Damn those vegans.
this is a relatively recent development, like the last 20 years, is schools of evangelism. They start up these little schools where they'll have, 20 or 30 people coming through at a time. They are not accredited. They don't offer any degrees. It's 2 years where you're working your ass off about 120 hours a week. And the people they churn through learn how to preach, how to sell books door to door, how to do evangelistic series, how to try to convert people. And then in some conferences, they actually get offered jobs as pastors. And what you end up having happen with those
I sold a book once. I'm qualified.
What ends up happening with those schools of evangelism graduates, since they've got 2 years of education on it compared to somebody who has gone through the seminary and has 7 years of education to do their job, they know how to preach and win souls. They don't know how to run a church. And so in the first 6 months, they get big growth. And then they lose all of that growth.
That's because growth can be attributed to having just a new face.
Well, you do an evangelistic series and you get, 30 new converts. And within 6 months, you're lucky if half are still there. And these guys are more often, within 6 months, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty standard, though, getting a lot of washouts from new converts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're just especially good at it. They get bigger numbers. They just get worse long-term results. And what's kind of really weird with this is with these self-supporting ministries, they sometimes work in concert with the church. Sometimes they directly compete with it. And yet the church loves them.
Yeah, well.
They get all of their funding from church members. They are sometimes even antagonistic towards conference leadership, and nobody cares.
As long as you put asses in seats.
Yeah. The most well-known and visible of the Adventist self-supporting ministries is Three Angels Broadcasting Network, which started in, I believe it was the late 80s, when a guy who worked in construction felt impressed by God that he needed a satellite and to start doing TV.
Hell yeah.
And he started going church to church, raising money to buy that satellite, and he did it. And odds are, if you look through your cable or satellite listing or look at broadcast television, you will have 3ABN on there. We get, on our local broadcast, they've actually got 3 channels with using the digital bands. And oh man, it is some crazy conservative Adventist bullshit. Yeah.
TA.
So if you're curious and
just another notch for, craziness. If
you're interested in checking it out, yeah. Give them a little watch, and there's a decent chance you'll end up getting to see multiple self-supporting ministries involved, since Amazing Facts often puts stuff on 3ABN. So, yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with news.
Atheist Nomads is proudly brought to you by Archway Hosting. Check out their low-price, full-featured hosting solutions at archwayhosting.com. That's ARCHWAY hosting.com.
Hey, we're also brought to you by listeners just like you. Find out how you can become a patron at patreon.com/atheist nomads. That's patreon.com/atheist nomads.
The Kentucky General Assembly has just passed 2 new anti-abortion bills, and the governor is expected to, or by now has signed them. The first one will prevent abortions during or after the 20th week of pregnancy under all circumstances.
And I'm rolling my eyes and shaking my head.
The second,
because that's stupid,
requires doctors performing an abortion to conduct an ultrasound and verbally describe the fetus before the procedure. That one does not have weeks involved in it, so potentially that'd be doing an ultrasound before it's even a fetus.
Yeah, so it looks like okay,
looks like a little
imagine a kidney bean, all right? Wow, I really can't get into much more detail.
Look over
Okay,
here,
you ready?
There's a tail.
Yeah.
So, one of the arguments that Democrats were using to try to oppose this was that, they need to leave some protections in there for women who were raped, or if it was a case of incest, or if
the child is going to die a horrible death moments after being born.
That, or if the mother's health is at risk. And, well, for one, past the 20-week mark, nearly all abortions are for medical reasons, not elective. And one of the Republican representatives who supported this, James Tipton, he thinks that women shouldn't terminate problematic pregnancies. His exact words were, "God does not make mistakes. There are unborn children that do not have the ability to speak up for themselves in defense of their life and liberty. But friends, here in the Kentucky House of Representatives, we have an opportunity to be their voice."
Oh, I think I just puked in my mouth.
Yeah, because that's not a realistic way of viewing abortion. This isn't people wanting to just tear it out because it's inconvenient. It's usually, like you said, medical. And to tell a person that tumor that's growing inside them has more rights than they do is just, it's just sexist, really.
And can fucking kill you.
It's dehumanizing.
Yeah, and then, of course, once the baby's born, well, then hands off.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Well, yeah. I mean, they care about it until the baby gets shit out. After that, they're like, "Fuck you. We don't want to help you."
Yeah,
So,
hypocritical.
Yeah, just a bit. I just said that a baby gets shit out.
That's not how that works, Wesley.
It's a hole down there somewhere. It's icky. It's gross. I don't know.
You sound like
That's all I'm
Trump.
saying. It's the best. It's sticky. It's gross. It's best. Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Disaster.
But, man, this is just... Bills like this, like both of these, have been passed places before and have all died in court.
Yes. So, first person to get on that, good luck.
Unfortunately, there has also been a recent trend in women who challenge abortion proceedings or abortion rules to be found to not have standing, because by the time it actually gets to a judge, they're not pregnant anymore.
They're not pregnant anymore, which is ridiculous. The standing rule bothers me a lot. It's misused and...
Well, and especially when it comes to abortion rules, because any woman who could become pregnant and need an abortion should have standing.
Should, but they don't. You either have to...
You have an up to 9-month window to, have that case, and
you have up to 20 weeks.
Taken care of. Well,
and
I mean...
nothing's going to get in front of a judge and taken care of in 20 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's if you're lucky to have found out
a
within a week of being pregnant, which isn't happening.
Well, you got up to a theoretical 9 months to have your case and get it over with and to keep your standing.
And you actually don't even have 9 months to get standing, because you've got the 19 weeks where the abortion's allowed, and then you have, what's the normal length of a pregnancy? What, like 43 weeks? 40. Okay, so then you've got the 21 weeks from that point, minus however long before a problem is discovered, to then actually do the lawsuit. So you're down to a couple months, assuming you even survive it.
Yeah, what if your point is the fact that it's medically necessary? I don't know.
Well, then it's time to fly to Washington State.
Yeah, it's time to move.
Well, at least, for a week or two.
Go visit your aunt like they used to.
That creates a huge financial burden.
Sure.
The ultrasound, too. The ultrasound is a not medically necessary financial burden on taxpayers, on the people who are getting the ultrasound, on the hospital. I mean, it's just a total waste of resources.
I wonder who in big ultrasound was able to get that provision into the bill.
Those ultrasound techs. I knew it.
Big ultrasound. That's right.
No, the whole point of it, though, is to make it more expensive and more difficult.
Yeah.
It's removing access.
I mean,
it's decreasing access instead of removing it.
If this is a state requirement to get an ultrasound, wouldn't that put it into a not optional procedure that you actually have to get this and maybe be under insurance after that? Maybe not an elective.
Whether it's covered by insurance or not.
I mean, you still got at least a copay.
Yeah.
But insurance usually doesn't cover abortions.
But it might cover the ultrasound.
It might. Yeah.
I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a mess, and that's fucked up.
Actually, they probably still wouldn't cover the ultrasound because
it's not medically necessary.
It's not medically necessary, and the diagnosis codes wouldn't indicate a necessary ultrasound.
Yeah,
or
your
justifiable one.
first trimester your ultrasounds are typically not covered. You don't usually get ultrasounds until, you get one, like a trimester.
Still, let's name and shame Governor Matt Bevin. Kentucky.
Oh, him and the first Republican House of Representatives in the history of Kentucky.
Oh.
They just took over for the first time ever.
Wow.
Well, they're not wasting any time.
Nope.
No, and that's a theme that we are going to see for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for the next about 4 months, we will have no shortage of crazy coming from state legislatures. I'm just impressed it started this early because normally the bills take a few months to actually work their way through and get to a vote.
I know. I just imagine all these these old men like panting at the door, like, "Yeah, let's get in there. Come on, let's do some work." It's like, no, that's not realistic.
So, a elderly Brazilian woman has been praying for several years, several times a day, to a statue of Saint Anthony, or at least that's who she thought the statue was of.
Oh no!
Yeah, Gabriella.
Oh God, it was a dildo, wasn't
Brandeo
it?
No.
Discovered that her daughter's great grandmother was actually praying to a statue of Elrond.
Yup.
The elf lord from Lord of the Rings.
That's awesome. Oh man, he has the long brown hair. I can see it. The tunic.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cute. Oh. Oh, Elrond.
Oh, poor little old lady. It's just like, aw.
Agent Smith from The Matrix. Yeah.
I hope that
Mr. Anderson.
I hope nobody told her.
Just switch it out with another one.
No, I hope they just let her keep praying to the little figurine.
Aw.
Let her continue her delusion because, okay, by the time you're a great grandmother, I just
fuck it.
Let them have it.
Let them have it. That's right. They may not have much longer. And it makes for a really good family story. And
imagine how heartbroken she'd be if she decided that St. Andrew hasn't been hearing her prayers all these years.
Ooh.
And that she was actually praying to a evil elvish idol.
Yeah, those pointy-eared bastards. Man.
On the plus side, it didn't actually decrease the efficacy of her prayers.
That's true. You know, maybe it did her some good.
Oh, that was cute.
Cleveland Clinic is actually a very well-respected medical organization. In fact, the lab that Lauren and I work at sends some work to them.
Thanks for giving me money.
So, yeah, they're a good, high-quality organization. They have a wellness institute, and the medical director and chief operating officer of the Cleveland Clinic Wellness Institute, Dr. Daniel Nides, wrote an op-ed at cleveland.com where he questioned the efficacy of vaccines. His big concerns were the preservatives. Like when he got the flu shot recently. He chose to go with the preservative-free vaccine to only find out that it still has preservatives.
No.
It has formaldehyde. No mercury, but it has formaldehyde.
Yeah.
So does that pear that you eat. A lot of it.
And apples and...
Pears are
An apple
high.
a day is literally less or more formaldehyde than what you get from a vaccine.
I believe bananas are really fucking high, too.
Your body produces more formaldehyde each day than a vaccine contains.
That's what the old person smell is, right?
That's after they're dead, Lauren.
Have you ever walked into a nursing home? There's a weird smell. I think it's formaldehyde.
I have a different hypothesis, but I think it's pee.
It's probably urine.
Yeah.
You're in good hands.
But yeah, so he's freaked out about the mercury in the Marisol, which has been removed from most vaccines, and the ones that still have it are for adults, and it's not a big deal. That's not the dangerous kind of mercury. There is dangerous mercury. That's not it.
It's the kind you used to break the thermometers open with and play with.
That's the dangerous stuff, yes. So yeah, he's all freaked out about the carcinogens. And then, so he got the vaccine, and then within 12 hours, he was in bed feeling miserable and missed 2 days of work with a terrible cough and body aches.
Oh, no.
This is a fucking doctor.
Well, you know what they say about doctors, that they make the worst patients.
If you develop symptoms within 12 hours, it's not from what you just got. If it's
tempting.
that fast, you were already infected.
Yeah.
He had a cold. This is a doctor who confused a cold with the fucking flu shot.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. And pears, have 38 to 60 milligrams per kilo. It's pretty fucking high.
All right. Delicious pears.
Bananas coming in about 16 per milligram per kilo.
Yeah, and then he kept
medically
going. He went on to, how that they could be linked to cancer, autoimmune diseases. He specifically calls out autism and says that he doesn't know and doesn't want to talk about it here.
He doesn't know.
So why did he bring it up?
So why would you even mention? That is the biggest problem with the whole autism thing, is nobody's willing to say yes or no. What they do is they bring it up and they say, well, I don't know. It's like, no, you obviously have an opinion here.
That's why anybody who says just saying after something is a jackass and needs to be shot.
Oh, just saying. Totes.
Because you end up getting that after unsubstantiatable or bullshit statements.
It's
just
like
saying.
It's like saying, not to sound racist, but if that's ever at the beginning, it's always going to be racist. And if you say something like just saying, yeah, you probably just said something wrong.
And I should also note that Atheist Nomads does not condone shooting jackasses.
Yeah, they carry your packs for you.
I mean,
Leave 'em alone.
if its leg is broken and you're going to put it down, then, shoot it in the head.
Okay.
Because,
make it quick.
yeah.
Yeah, and then his final complaint about it all was that, with newborn, they vaccinate newborns, and they're pumping all of these preservatives into them when they don't even have intact immune systems or detoxification systems.
Well,
yeah.
That's kind of why they're doing it.
Well,
That's the point.
the newborn vaccines are because those are things you might be exposed to in the hospital where you were born.
And that shit isn't, transferred through the placenta. It doesn't go through breast milk. I mean, the baby needs to get protected.
It's effective. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be getting done.
Oh, man.
Oh. So within a few days of this, because this has gotten torn down all over the place, Cleveland.com pulled it down. And he's apologized, says that he fully supports vaccination. I was just trying to raise questions about their safety, not telling people not to get them.
Yeah. That's what Wakefield is for.
The Cleveland Clinic did actually, they have disciplined this doctor for it and issued a statement saying Cleveland Clinic is fully committed to evidence-based medicine. Harmful myths and untruths about vaccines have been scientifically debunked in rigorous ways. We completely support vaccinations to protect people, especially children who are particularly vulnerable. Our physician published his statement without authorization from Cleveland Clinic. His views do not reflect the position of Cleveland Clinic, and appropriate disciplinary action will be taken.
Oh, that's great, except for the damage has been done.
Yep.
So, whoop-de-doo. People like President-elect Trump will still go to that as proof and reason to discredit vaccine safety.
Let's go ahead and take our second break.
We love hearing from our listeners. You can email us at contact@atheistnomads.com, tweet us at atheistnomads, send us a message on our Facebook page at facebook.com/atheistnomads, or better yet, call us and leave us a message at 541-203-0666. We might even play it on the show. You can also help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcast directory of choice.
Yeah, so lovely guy that he is. Trump just asked a very special anti-vaxxer to chair a commission on vaccine safety. That's this wonderful person I'm speaking about is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a person who Gizmodo calls a vaccine critic. I would go so far to call him a vaccine nutter, conspiracy theorist asshole. Well, I mean, he's not even a quack. I mean, he's not a doctor. He doesn't have any scientific background. He's like into environmental sciences, I think, at best. But yeah.
It sounds like more like environmental conspiracies.
well, definitely scientific ones. Yeah, this is the same guy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that said they get the shot. That night, they have a fever of 103. They go to sleep, and 3 months later, their brain is gone. This is a Holocaust. What this is doing to our country. No shit, he said that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, and that goes along with the whole that vaccines cause autism or cause kids to need special education later, and which is just, it hurts my brain.
Well, you know what? After you get a massive injection, yeah, you're going to be a little woozy and off your fucking game for it, for a day. Go figure. So it's not surprising that a kid is like all a little woozy.
Yeah, but it certainly doesn't cause retardation, which is what people are really afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
They call it, and it pisses me off that people still insist on saying that autism is related at all, because
yeah, fuck you.
There have been hundreds of studies that have demonstrated that it's not.
Yeah, there's no autism, no retardation.
And only one falsified bullshit tiny study that Andrew Wakefield did that ever said that there was a link.
One that was intentionally misleading.
Yeah, that was paid for by the parents of a bunch of parents of kids that had autism, and it's just not good. He got discredited. He was disbarred. It's not science.
This is just goes along with a whole bunch of Trump's other appointments with people who are A, not qualified for the job they're getting appointed to, and B, completely antithetical to it.
Yeah, so the autism vaccine link has been thoroughly debunked. That is the reason why Trump has decided that he wants to have this committee. It has clearly been explained as being exploring the possibility of forming a committee on autism, which affects so many families, and that the fact that he wants this anti-vaxxer in charge of jeez.
God damn.
Anger. So much anger.
Yeah. Trump's picking fucking winners left and right.
Yeah.
Just remember that measles outbreak in Disneyland, people.
All right. Sticking with Trump, we've already talked about the crazy ideas that people have that that he and Putin are gonna to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem.
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
Jim Bakker is still harping on that, and had a fellow end times evangelist on by the name of Tom Horn. And Horn went off on a whole bunch of stuff about what ancient rabbis and some current rabbis in Israel are all saying. And I've got a couple clips from it. Some of the nice little nuggets.
Ancient secret of Daniel's 70 weeks predicts end of days will come this year in 5777, which started in October last month in the Jewish calendar year and will be done by September of the coming year. So, and by the way, that was Rabbi Meir Horowitz 300 years ago.
Nuggets of poo.
Yeah, and I thought it was firmly established that the 70-week prophecy from Daniel finished on October 22, 1844, with the great disappointment for the Adventists and the beginning of the investigative judgment. But no, apparently they have a different date.
Yeah, it all still sounds crazy.
So, okay, he then continues to talk about a bunch of rabbis and them all thinking that, the end times are coming, the Jewish Messiah will appear now, that he is known, he has appeared, and that he will start his work in this year.
Yeah, well, if I were to determine that the end of the world was going to come, I would correlate that with Trump, definitely.
Uh-huh. So here's the second clip.
They're looking at Donald Trump. One of the rabbis illustrated how his name in the gematria, the numerology of his name, actually means Messiah.
Oh my God.
Obviously.
I hate it whenever they bring up that numerology crap.
So there's a little bit of numerology that makes sense with the Bible. They didn't have Arabic numerals then. Numbers were letters. A was 1, or Aleph in Hebrew, Alpha in Greek was 1, Bet in Hebrew, Beta in Greek was 2, etc.
I actually talked to Joshy Berger about this when I heard about it. Friend of the show, been on a long time ago. So I asked him specifically about that. Trump, and Trump means Messiah. And he said they meant numerology, basically. It's silly. Hebrew letters have a value, like A equals 1, B equals 2, etc. That's why 18 is a lucky Jewish number, because it's the letters that spell life is 18 in total. So Trump is the same value as that, childish and pointless. So that's a direct quote that Joshy sent me.
Yeah.
And, he was raised speaking Hebrew most of his life. So, I mean, he fucking knows this shit. He was in deep.
Yeah. And the only time that it actually makes logical sense is when it is letters given that are obviously not a word, and in the context makes sense as a number. You don't convert a word into a number. That is crazy talk.
That's backwards.
But some examples I heard on it at one point from somebody preaching at my home church in Grants Pass as a kid, I think was trying to make the argument that Bill Gates was the Antichrist.
That's where you usually hear this kind of crap.
And
people are talking about the Antichrist.
And it was using numerology that, if you do it just right, Bill Gates, his name added up to 666.
Which isn't even the right number, apparently.
But if you do it a little bit different, then it's 616, so it works either way. And yeah, numerology, it's just batshit crazy. But oh man, but he eventually, he kept going on how all these different rabbis are starting to think that Trump is the Messiah, and yeah.
I think he's the Antichrist, but whatever.
I knew they would fucking rally around him. He's a lost soul. He's a lost lamb, but he'll come to the flock.
They also said that, just getting ready for this, The day before the election, some rabbis were calling all Jews back to Jerusalem.
Sure. To take their vote out of it.
And all these rabbis, they actually say how many there are at one point. 6.
All these rabbis. All six
rabbis.
Yeah, they call people back to Jerusalem for, like, anything.
All the time. Yeah.
Well, those 6 rabbis, if you multiply them by 111, then 666. Oh, my God.
But if he isn't completely convinced that Donald Trump is the Jewish Messiah, here's what he
I'm not
really
saying
thinks.
that they think he is the Messiah. What I actually think is that most of the rabbis there think he's John the Baptist, and the Messiah is about to appear.
Oh, that's so much more legit.
So he's not the Messiah. He is a very naughty boy. I hope you got that.
Yeah. God damn.
So if he's not God, then he's foretelling God.
Well,
Jesus.
He also did explain that for Jews, the Messiah is not God come on earth or the Savior like Christians think. It's a king, a ruler who will restore the power of Israel. And Donald Trump has promised that he'll be Israel's best friend.
Well, it depends. Will Russia allow that?
Yeah.
Russia joke. Just have to throw this in there. They did just release the report on the Russian hacking, and apparently there was some pretty nasty stuff about Trump in it. That, yes, he does indeed have very deep ties with Russia, and did some nasty stuff when he was in Moscow, apparently.
All right. Lauren.
Yeah.
You've got a fun sciencey
Got some bad
one.
news. Got some bad news for all your red meat lovers.
Yeah, fuck you.
Apparently, if you eat too much red meat, it can cause... How is that pronounced, Wesley?
Fuck you.
Diverticulitis.
Yeah.
Which is a nasty little intestine gut disorder.
It's a pocket, a sausage pocket, a little piece of your intestines form a little pocket, and then it gets infected and it's bad and it's icky. And I have that.
And apparently it's painful and uncomfortable and generally sucks. And there has been a link to the overeating of red meat. So
I mean, I was on antibiotics for a week for that.
Yeah, that sucked.
And when Wesley missed the episode for being sick, this was it.
Yeah, I was on a broth diet for a few days.
Ugh, broth. Boring. Where's the pizza?
Boring. Broth, shit. I mean, broth and Advil. I mean, I wasn't getting any normal amounts of calories or sugars or anything.
Or nutrients.
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, cut down on your red meat. That might help.
Yeah. I actually have eating a lot more fiber.
And the specifics they found was that men who had 6 or more servings of red meat were 58% more likely to develop it. This is over 26 years.
Yeah, this is a long-ass study. Long-ass.
And that was 58% more likely to develop it than men on the far other end of the spectrum who had red meat 1.2 servings per week.
That's about where you're at.
Yeah, I'm about there. Now, one thing that's kind of funny is I get hemorrhoids more often than I should at my age.
Huh.
And have since
not had one of those.
And I have since I was 17.
Genetics.
And I got them in high school and college when I was eating a mostly vegetarian diet.
Oh, so vegetables turn your asshole inside out.
Yeah, in Adventist cafeterias. And I've gotten them more recently in the last couple years since I have stopped eating so many hamburgers. Huh. And what's interesting is when I was eating
That is not the correlation.
When I was eating fast food every day and smoking, I did not get a single hemorrhoid.
Okay, well, maybe the smoking, just because it causes constriction of the vessels. But I'm sorry, the hamburgers are not coming back. No, actually, I love hamburgers. But everybody needs to get their fiber.
Yeah.
Get your fiber.
And ribs.
And ribs.
Ribs.
Sous vide ribs.
That's right. Yes.
Oh, man. I still haven't
All right.
gotten him to moan like that.
All right, let's
awesome.
take our last break and we'll turn it over to Wesley.
Oh, boy.
As a listener of the show, I'm going to assume you love my sexy vocal stylings. If you love the rest of the show as much as my voice, consider giving us the resources we desperately need to purchase quality cocaine and Red Bull. We make it super easy to make a one-time donation or to support us on a per episode, monthly, or even annual basis using PayPal or Patreon. Find out more at atheistnomads.com. Use the links on the right side of the page. $1 an episode is all we ask.
All right, so to kind of keep it in the sciencey stuff first, the United States lists its first bumblebee species as endangered. Holy shit.
Which is
Wow.
both a yay and a sad.
No, that's a complete sad.
Not really, because now that it's on the endangered species list, now it gets protection.
Yeah. If
The fact
that's
that
a
it got
good
there in the
thing.
first place is sad, yes.
But it is the rusty patched bumblebee.
Aw, it
if you
sounds
ever see
adorable.
one, it's got a cute little rusty spot color right behind its wings. It's, as far as bees go, I guess it's kind of cute.
Aw.
So yeah, this little guy is only found in like what was it, 13 states and Ontario now. So a few small scattered populations. It used to be like one of the big bees around the nation, and now it's not. So holy shit!
We get them here in Idaho, I believe.
Maybe.
I think they're really rare, though.
Man.
Or maybe you used to get them.
Mm.
I don't think I've seen a bumblebee in Idaho.
What?
Hmm?
Okay, no, there's
Pretty
lots of
sure.
bumblebees. We have them in the backyard.
I've seen lots of bees and wasps.
No, there's been lots of bumblebees. Well, I've been following, I've been on a Facebook group following Idaho bugs, and bumblebees is on a major, people, it's like birding. People look for bumblebees.
Sure.
There's websites dedicated to tracking bumblebees,
insects.
and people have life lists, and the rusty patch one is on the life list because it's rare. So, yeah, we got lots of bumblebees. I just noticed them.
Okay.
Well, so these government scientists, though, are pointing towards a certain class of pesticide called neonicotinoids. I fucking nailed that. Widely
Neonicotinoids?
used on crops, lawns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, neonicotinoids.
There you go.
Neo.
Yeah, right. See? I can say people's last names. I'm fucking hard
Neonicotinoids.
with-
They're synthetic.
Klingon shit.
They're synthetic nicotine.
Yes.
Okay. Well, apparently these are causing all sorts of havoc with the fucking bees. So, yeah, it's kind of weird to see a bee on the endangered species list, but
And
yeah.
sad.
Oh yeah,
I, for one, am applauding that they finally got on there because there have been no protections for them whatsoever.
Sure, but
and
they went from,
because they move around state to state, the protections aren't. They're not the same, and it's just a mess.
sure.
So
but,
for all the bee
these
peeps out
little
there,
rusty-butted bees used to be big in like 28 states, and now they're in 13 in fucking Ontario.
and who the
Damn.
hell cares about Ontario?
And it's fucking Canada.
Canadians do.
Just America North.
No, they don't. They don't care about Ontario.
That's where
Nobody
most of
cares
them
about
live.
Ontario.
Oh,
Most
I was
of the-
thinking Alberta.
Yeah.
My bad.
Most of the English-speaking Canadians live in Ontario.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Not
All
Alberta.
right. So let's have some fun here. A little bit of fun here. All right. So there is a counter sting. Yeah.
Sting.
Wait, a counter sting?
Yeah.
It's like
A
when
counter sting.
a bee sting.
No, not this time.
Okay.
So there's this group called Project Veritas, which is run by James O'Keefe, who's a right-wing nut and con man, supposedly. He got caught.
Yeah.
Well, the group got caught, really, trying to bribe progressive people into rioting during Trump's inauguration, closing bridges, hacking sites. According to the video/audio recording, it was worth up to $500,000. Holy
wow.
I'd do it.
No, you better fucking not. No. I mean, these right-wing people are trying to make progressives look fucking bad, and that would really fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, portray critics of Trump who march against him as violent fringe figures.
They are.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works.
Well, it would if there's a fucking $500,000 up there and people were stupid enough to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if they could make the inauguration day about all of these riots and not about Trump, holy shit. You know, any chance that a progressive agenda would be going on, let alone a fucking Democrats agenda, would be just laughable.
It already is.
There's a candle in the wind.
Aw, flicker, flicker. Oh, no, it's just drafty.
So, yeah, you know, like those weird ass fucking right wing video nuts that, you know, try and get the abortion clinic to say that they sell baby body parts.
Mm-hmm.
Or the people who think the Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group.
Yeah, this is, you know, it could have been that, you know, the people out of Veritas were trying to record the progressives, whether or not this happened or not. I don't know if the assholes were recording, but thankfully the progressives were recording.
Yeah.
And fucking stung it all the shit. It was great.
Sting. Counter sting.
Yeah.
Ninja sting.
Stung the stingers. Yeah, so fucking A, this is awesome to see this shit get out there. We have a link to the HuffPo article, but there's also a TYT video that the HuffPo linked to if you want to actually like listen to and / watch some of that video that was posted. It's pretty fucking cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, and that whole, oh man, that's just crazy. Although I did read an article recently on, it was an opinion piece from a professor who is a expert on Ukrainian politics, drawing comparisons between Trump and the Ukrainian president who was ousted, what was that, in 2014, right before the Ukrainian Civil War, and seeing some definite similarities there. And he was ousted by popular protest. People, like mass tens and hundreds of thousands of people protesting in the streets. And he doesn't think there's much of a chance that Americans are going to do that. No, we are too set on keeping our heads down and surviving the day to day to bother protesting.
Well, we're fucking sheep.
Bah. Sheep are delicious. And their wool is useful.
Okay.
Whenever I play Settlers of Catan, I always collect all the sheep. That's how I win the game.
Never played that.
I've never played strategically. I just collect all the sheep and then declare myself the sheep queen, and I am the winner. At which point I'm usually bored and I walk away.
Great. All right, let's see how it goes. All right, so here's a little tidbit. I thought it was kind of cute. So Moby and Charlotte Church were both asked to perform for Trump's inauguration.
This is just a debacle.
And they both said no. Well, actually, Charlotte Church said, "You're a tyrant." And Moby said, "Release your tax returns and I'll DJ your party." Boy, you should see this dude's set list. I mean, seriously. Yeah. Well, Moby actually said, "Haha, wait, really?" and then, you know, when he got serious about it, it was like, all right. I mean, Moby was like a big voice for Hillary when, you know, Hillary was still a thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for one of those after parties, they were trying to get Moby to play. And Moby said, you know, sure, if you release your tax returns, I'll consider it my payment. And holy shit, the set list he made and that he released, like Fight the Power by Public Enemy.
Oh, no.
American Idiot by Green Day.
So
I'm
good.
So Bored with the USA, The Clash. Oh, God. Get Up, Stand Up by Bob Marley. Anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols. Fuck yeah.
That
Pool
sounds
Stop
like
the
a
Rain
good
by
set list for
CCR.
a inauguration day party.
Yeah, for somebody that you don't like.
Exactly.
Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2.
We'll invite some friends over, grab some beer, and cry.
We Shall Overcome by Pete Seeger.
Oh,
But the biggest one is Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday, which, holy shit. I mean, man, that is a powerful song. Yeah. Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit was a anti-lynching jazz standard.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's some strong words in these songs.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty fucking awesome if that got played.
Wow.
Oh, boy. But yeah, Moby just kind of said "fuck you" twice.
Gave him the old
Nice,
Alec Baldwin.
nice.
Yeah, so that's really what I got though.
All right. We have no new feedback. The story on Trump is the Messiah, that was a request we got on Twitter.
All right.
But yeah, no feedback to share. We do have a new patron, Cervantes.
Cervantes. What an excellent name, sir.
Cervantes.
Or ma'am.
Or ma'am.
True.
Or other.
I'm just thinking literary.
Yeah.
Cervantes. Don Quixote.
And
That's right.
we have gone long, so a story or two will end up being patron only.
Patrons.
And that is all for this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Cervantes.
Wesley.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Tilting at
Lauren.
Windmills.
No problemo.
And remember, not all those who wander are lost.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Atheist Nomads. You can find show notes and contact information at atheistnomads.com. Follow us on Twitter at Atheist Nomads, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Atheist Nomads. Please subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcatcher of choice, and while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. Theme music is courtesy of Sturdy Fred. Until next time, this has been the Atheist Nomads.